fact is that there is a new appetite for man style from the new generation, and this is fantastic news, because this generation of young men have not been taught by their father, and when they quote an example, when they want to show me who they want to look like, they think more of their grandfathers, actually, more than their fathers. So to answer precisely your question, to this young generation, I answered probably now, I could say hundreds if not thousands of mail I received, and I always start with the same answer. Take your time. There's a learning curve in this. It's not a science. It's a highly subjective matter. And I still don't know, after almost 15 years of my life studying this, working on this subject, I still don't know if you can acquire taste or if it's innate. But what I know is that you can refine your taste at least, and you can educate yourself. So I will say to them, first, take your time. Educate yourself. Before spending 1 penny, think twice. Before going to the high brands and give your money to the people who are selling you a brand with a label, think twice. Before going all in on a bespoke suit for a first bespoke suit, no, think twice. There's a learning curve, which is not the same for everybody, but take your time, educate yourself, and then be prepared. Be prepared to make some mistakes, because this is part of the game, and this is an area of life where you can make enormous mistakes. You know why? Because it's a very complex subject. You look at yourself, and then so you have your own gaze at your own self, and you can say, oh, well, I think I look good inside this. And then you go outside and you understand that you need the approval of others also to just check on the fact that you are looking good. And so this is very paradoxical, because you need, and this is what the learning curve is all about, is to refine the way you judge yourself. Is to refine the way, and not by becoming more loose, but by becoming more demanding with your own self. But I also say to them, most of the time, beware not to fall into something totally obsessional, because this is the wrong side of dressing well. Some people, I know so many, when I do Parisian gentlemen event, I don't know, we did probably, I have no idea, 35 to 40 events, public events all around the world, where hundreds of young men are coming, they dress. Gosh, it's impressive, it's so rewarding for us. When with Greg and Sonia, we see all these armies of young people coming, dressed to the nine with their best bow ties and the waistcoat of their fathers or grandfathers, and most of them, they don't have the money to go bespoke. They've been thrifting this, they've been recuperating. So many guys are so proud to tell me, Mr. Jacomet, this is the suit of my grandfather, or this is the jacket of my great uncle. It is from 1936 or something like that. They almost tremble. So it's very beautiful to see. But the problem is that most of the time, they try too hard. Never forget that elegance is a word which is extremely close to another word, which is natural. And, we've been talking a lot about sprezzatura. I take an opportunity to speak about that. Some people say, I want to have sprezzatura. Sprezzatura is an Italian word that it's totally misused these days, because for most of young people, they want to have sprezzatura. They want to really super accessorize, put a lot of efforts in their suiting, and sometimes they overdo it. Don't overdo it. Sprezzatura is not this. The sprezzatura is the art of making people believe that you did not prepare yourself. It's making people believe that you have a kind of a natural nonchalance, which is a part of elegance, because when you become nonchalant, then you start to reach elegance. And so the sprezzatura is the art to prepare yourself without people noticing that you prepare yourself. But sometimes I see young men, it's breaking my heart, because they over-prepare themselves. And they assume, like, sometimes they are not even more in a suit, they are in a sarcophage, They are in a kind of they are very stiff like that. And you know why they should not do that? It's because when you are doing this, what are you exhibiting? What are you exposing? It's not you. You are exposing your efforts. You don't expose your person. And that's what we aim to do with classic men's style and elegance. You have to expose your person and your personality and not your efforts. It means that you have to be patient. You have to make your tries. You have to make your mistakes. Don't put a lot of money. Today, if you're clever, with the thrifting stores, with eBay, with the second-hand store, with all this community building around the sartorial movement, you can really access some super affordable. So don't spend money immediately to brand names. Avoid brand names, please. But don't overspend immediately at custom tailors. Just do your tries, do your learning, and then when you satisfied with what you have, maybe your style is to be more in blue suit, very strict, or maybe you're more kind of a vintage guy. You like to rock a vintage jacket, or maybe your style is more to wear a neckerchief more than a tie. Just identify what you like and then push it, but really push it. And pushing it to the extreme, paradoxically, means at one moment simplify it. So you have to go up to put some complexity and some refinement, and then you will discover that you're going to re-simplify it and finish it, but by knowing that most of the time one accessory is sufficient in an outfit, not 2 or 3. Globally, it's a blast. It's a very pleasant world. When we go to Pitti Uomo in Florence twice a year, it's very exciting. It's a community. I mean, in Pitti we have friends from all around the world, from Tokyo, from Singapore, from Russia, from Romania, from probably 100 different countries. They're coming from all around the world, and when you see those people saying hello to you, it's a kind of a good, almost family thing. So that's the good side of it. And of course there's some downside, but you have to remember one thing, that this community probably saved the business, I would say not the life, but the business life of hundreds and hundreds of artisans who were speaking and preaching in the deserts. And thanks to this community, they're not preaching in the desert anymore. And they found a whole new clientele. Who cares about Louis Vuitton, about Hermès, about Giorgio Armani, nobody cares anymore. The young generation, they worship almost master tailors who 10 years ago were totally unknown, were about to close their shop. So remember that. This community did this. And we probably saved not only business, but also arts, but also gestures. Because thanks to for example, in bespoke shoemaking, the gestures the artisans are making would be probably lost, totally lost without this community. That's the upside. So, and some people, they're not aware about that. And this is why, even if I have some criticism, and I will give it to you just after, I value what we did as a community, because this is very important and we really helped a lot of people around the world. The downside, they're easy to understand. We live in an era where the image is becoming more and more important. In the sartorial community, for many people, specifically the people who are going at Pitti Uomo, most of the time, they're not humans anymore. They become peacocks. And they just go there to show off and to literally peacock. It's a verb, I guess, in English, peacocking, right? And so it can be dangerous for the ego. Some people in this world, but I think it's maybe not specific to this world. I think it's probably specific to every world, but maybe more this one because it's a world of appearances, how you look, how people look at you. Some people can get lost and can lose themselves a little bit and just forget about what they are talking about. We're talking about something noble. We're talking about something which should be noble. And we're talking about something that should be generous. You dress for yourself, but you also dress for others. I have the impression I write for others. I don't write for myself. And so we have generations, the people I call the bloggers without a blog. That is to say, people who just basically go on Instagram, put a few pictures. The worst of them buy followers, fake followers. This is everywhere in our world. You have people who have hundreds of thousands of followers overnight. They come from nowhere and they say upon themselves, public figure. I have nothing against them. I don't know. I know a few of them actually quite closely. They will never say to you that they bought the follower, but we know I mean, we're not totally stupid. Ego is the most important problem in this world. And some of people, sometimes they lose their head. And even good people can, at one moment, twist. Because if you don't re-inject into this world the right dose of humility, the right dose of understanding, the right dose of what you give and not take from people, the right dose of generosity, and the right dose of understanding that what is happening to you can stop tomorrow morning, then you can really lose yourself. It's like a little bit like a kind of a parallel star system. But with the Instagram, and Instagram is instrumental in making the head of people spin. And what I am on Instagram, we just reached 30,000 followers, and believe me, we went them one after the other, one by one. We're big on Facebook since years, around 150,000 people, but we built this community. It's a long work, it's a lot of work. And those people who just all of a sudden say, I'm famous, I'm a public figure. In any case, when you self-appoint yourself a public figure, is that you have a problem with your own ego and with your own image. So that's the downside. Some people, they just don't understand. It's not about showing off. What we do, I'm not speaking for everybody, but what we do is a little bit more profound. And to sum up what I want to say here is that some people take the subject a little bit too seriously and take themselves too seriously. And that's the main danger, to start to have such a high esteem about yourself that you are losing yourself. But it's almost a philosophical debate, if not a spiritual debate, about how you should work on your humility and on your self-esteem as a tool, but as a danger at the same time. So that's the downside of this community that's quite well known. But globally, this is a wonderful community.